Hello boys, it's me, Anorexic Danny DeVito. So today we're gonna go over another quirky build, another weird one, which might get a lot of flack for, maybe not. You boys might like it. But anyways, this is a WEREBEAR necro. Exactly. So some of you are already clicking out of the video, but that's fine. For the rest of you that stayed, we can kind of go through and talk about it. So of course, as we do, go through stats, skills, gear, whatever. We'll see what his AD's doing, and then we'll get into it. So this is going to be a bear necro. So what we're doing is we're maxing out bone spear synergy on bone hue. So we have chuck shales in here because it's thankfully 2 sockets, so we can get the highest potential IES frames, which is primo. But 50% chance to cast 16 bone spear on striking. So bone spear, when we're hitting with that, it's not going to be too fast. But if we shapeshift using beast into a werebear form, that's going to give us slightly higher frames. We can land more hits, more chance to cast Bone Spear, and with Bone Spear, we're maxing out all the synergies so we can get a bit more damage of that. Makes sense? Makes sense? Yep, no, yes, no. Well, let's get into it, eh? So, stats, Big Nut, 83. Strength is a bit high because we're using a Ogre Axe here, so that's sitting at 195. That's, unfortunately what we're going to need. Another high strength base, whatever, boo-hoo. Dexterity, don't really need anything here. Attack rating is low, but mercenaries helps us out, and with weird builds like this, I like utilizing Demon Limb because we can, Save points there, and it kind of makes sense if you're using stuff, and particularly weapons that have high strength, then, you want to save as much as you can for vitality. So that's what we've done here. So nothing into Dex, as I said. And then, yeah, 296 into vitality. Resistances were a bit difficult with this build. I found that it is still pretty tanky in werebear form, which I'll show you a bit later, and I was quite happy with my max fire res and the lightning res there. So though the other two were only at 8 res, that's kind of fine. Fuck, that one didn't want to come out. I was so close. But start off with the charms, just to keep it interesting. So I've got just a bunch of max damage and attacks rating, just some small crappy ones that are not too super duper. Annihilus Charm, Hellfire Torch. Don't worry, I'll get back to the gear. Hey, Honey Dixture. Alright, we'll go to skills now. Alright, so Poison and Bone. So Teeth is maxed out. 1 into Corpse Explosion, 1 into Bone Spear. So we only need to put 1 here, because we're getting level 16 Bone Spear whenever we're hitting. We're not actually casting it. So we're maxing out all the synergies of Bone Spear. So with this, we've got Bone Wall, we've got Bone Prison, and it's basically the same similar build as you probably saw in my Ranger Necro, right? With curses, we're not using anything at all because we can't cast anything in werebear form, not even CTA. And for summoning, we just put some of our extra points. So 1 into Iron Golem and Blood Golem, whatever one I want to kind of mess with. And spare points I've just put into Golem Mastery. So, you've got some spare points. So I am 83. And that's your leftovers. So, gear, boys. Here we are. Bone hue. There we are. So, we need to put 2 shells in there. That's important. The high ED you can get, obviously, that's going to be the best. This is a perfect non-eth one, just for a clean example for you. So, 609 is the highest we can get there. We went for max kind of attack damage on the gear. So, I've got the G-Face with 40 ED. Looking pretty sexy. Down here we got the High Lord, so we do stack the attack speed where we can. We have a Fortitude as well, so we're buffing up the enhanced damage where we can. Laying of Hands, the same there, so more increased attack speed, more fire res, and damage to demons, so more damage where we can. Ravenfrost, pretty self-explanatory for a melee build, and as you've seen in multiple other ones, Ravenfrost is usually holding hands with String of Ears, and also holding hands with Gore Riders. Oh, wowee. Didn't see that one coming, boys. But this one, we do have a cute little rare ring just for attack rating and some more lifesteal for sustain and some fire res. It's a bit of a free slot here. If you want to put something else, you could even put like a Bull Cathos if you want life, things like that. But that is about my gear. We'll show the mercenary. I am running a Blessed Aim mercenary, as I briefly mentioned at the start. So that's going to cover us with attack rating, which we can't see at the moment. It is dog shit. But once we are out in the wilderness, that will buff us up higher. So he is going to be proccing Decrepify with Reaper's Toll. So this is the similar kind of melee setup I use in other builds too. So Treachery, G-Face with Cham, and then Thresher in Reaper's Toll. Now, as you see, this is me and Sleaze are rocking the same get up. instead of me showing you his gear, we are running the same stuff, so I think we might as well just run straight into it. So before we go ahead, I think we'll need to buff up a little bit. So what I can do is I'll swap over to the demon limb. There we go. So you see attack rating there is 3739, so that is going to be increased again. That's going to be multiplied on top with the blessed aim, so it's actually quite a high bonus. And here we are, swapping over to beast. I'm ready to buff up here. And we'll pop over to Wheelstone Keep first so we can buff ourselves up. Hand the beast over to the boy. There we go. You gonna hold on to it, are you? No, he's not. Free beast. Here we are. So all we're using is the main attack. It's quite a fun build. It's not the strongest build for sure, as you've seen like some of the other stuff I make, but I really enjoyed making this one. It's strange. You know what else is strange is you guys can probably hear that I've got this the music, the actual game soundtrack in the background. How exciting is that? Some of you may be thinking, like, well, why don't you wait until 2.4, Billy? Because Bone Sphere is going to be so much stronger in 2.4. Yeah, I took that into account. Okay, I'm professional. I take my builds extremely seriously. There's only going to be a 1% increase across the board in regards to synergies on Bone Spear, as well as Bone Spirit. So, it did the calculations, you know, the big brain Billy, it's only going to be about 200 or so damage more. So I'm like, fuck it. You know, I can get the showcase done early, so then I can spend more time doing other beautiful builds for you boys and girls. Are you pretty happy about that? Just absolutely slapping away. It is unfortunate we can't cast curses. Amp damage would be a great one to use. You know, like, even Decrepify would help as well. But it's okay, because we do get a whole bunch of sustains. You can see health with CTA is 2600. It's fun. It's quirky. It's off-meta. The damage on the Bone Spears is only about just over 1,000, so we're looking at about 1,100 damage. But it does give us a bit of AoE with some, you know, mobs and other smaller stuff. You can break down just smaller packs faster, which is nice. I always find it interesting trying to apply a type of AoE to single target melee builds. Even if it's not the strongest, I still find it fun to try and get some usability. I have seen some comments on my previous Necro build. Some people said, like, you should use a brand and try some other weapons like that. A brand is definitely a good option. I don't really have the runes to spend on that at the moment, but that would be a fast base to kind of utilize. So like a brand and a demon crossbow, or a great bow with high attack speed, because that has a 100% chance to cast on hit, as you saw in the previous video. Oh, there we go. I think we can end that one there. You know, pretty straightforward. Not the fanciest, not the strongest, but I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting. Just turning your Necro into a freaking absolute chonky boy. I was entertained. Hopefully you guys were entertained for the, you know, however long I kept you here watching this. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I don't know. Outros.